November 2021, Malekzadeh launched the biggest pre-order in Zadeh Kicks history, the cool gray Jordan 11. $120 per pair, nearly half retail price. 600,000 orders flooded in, but Michael only secured 6,000 pairs. By May 2022, 10,000 customers were owed $65 million. No shoes, no refunds, no answers. This is part 3. The investigation, the charges, and what happened to the money. May 19th, 2022, Michael filed a petition in Lane County Circuit Court to voluntarily dissolve Zadeh Kicks. The petition claimed the company couldn't keep up with exponential growth since January 2020. But the numbers told a different story. Zadeh Kicks was insolvent. The company's liabilities far exceeded its assets. Preliminary estimates put losses at millions of dollars. The next day, the website changed. No more product listings, just a message from David P. Stapleton, the court-appointed receiver.
The owner of Zadeh Kicks LLC petitioned the court for voluntary dissolution. The receiver will provide updates as they become available.
For thousands of customers watching their money disappear, that message wasn't enough. Within hours, they mobilized. Twitter Spaces calls with thousands of people comparing notes. A Discord group called Zadeh Relief Group, where victims could organize email campaigns, shared spreadsheets tracking who was owed what. The anger was building. Some customers decided waiting wasn't enough. They went to Eugene. The warehouse address was public, 710 Commercial Street. Customers started arriving. Some drove from across the country. 2 flew in on a private jet. They were there for answers. The receiver's team was at the warehouse, trying to secure assets, inventory, financial records, anything that could be liquidated to pay creditors. The situation grew tense. Angry customers confronting the receiver's staff, demanding access, demanding answers. On May 23, 2022, police were called to the warehouse. $65 million in outstanding orders, 10,000 victims, and no Michael Malekzadeh in sight. The customers left with nothing, but federal agents were already moving. They didn't waste time. Michael had voluntarily handed over millions in luxury items, but the government wasn't taking chances. They seized everything. The mansion, the luxury cars, the watch collection, the handbags, jewelry, furs, the $29,000 Louis Vuitton bicycle, everything. The total recovery from liquidating Michael's personal assets, $7.5 million. It was something, but it was nowhere near enough. Meanwhile, David Stapleton was dealing with a much bigger problem. The moment Stapleton took control of Zadeh Kicks, his phone exploded. Emails flooded in, 3,500 messages from customers demanding answers. And when Stapleton's team arrived at the warehouse, they discovered the full scope of the disaster. No inventory management system, no tracking software, no spreadsheets, no way to match them to customer orders. Stapleton's team had to count every single pair by hand, match what they could to outstanding orders, figure out what could be liquidated. But there was an even bigger problem. All the transaction records, customer data, and order tracking numbers were stored in Zadeh Kicks' Shopify account. Zadeh Kicks had been in the top 1% of Shopify merchants, over 84,000 transactions in 2021 alone. The day after the dissolution, Shopify terminated access to the account. Stapleton needed that data. Without it, he couldn't figure out who got shipped what, who was owed refunds. He reached out to Shopify immediately. No response. He emailed again and again. Customer service, legal department. He even contacted Jessica Hurt, Shopify's general counsel and former cabinet secretary for President Biden. Nothing. For 3 months, Stapleton was locked out. Finally, on August 22, 2022, Stapleton filed a motion to compel Shopify to restore access. 2 days later, the Oregon court held a hearing. The judge granted the order. Shopify was forced to immediately reinstate access to the receiver, assist with login credentials, provide all data retained for the account. Only then could Stapleton start piecing together the full scope of the disaster. The inventory was valued between $12 and $20 million, but customers were owed $65 million. Stapleton initially planned to sell 1,100 pairs from Michael's personal sneaker collection, but as the scale became clear, the strategy shifted. In late 2022, Zadeh Kicks held a liquidation sale. An eBay account called Pacific Kicks appeared. 37% of the 60,000 pairs sold there. The rest went to bulk buyers, consignment shops, independent retailers. Every dollar recovered went into a pool for victims. Some customers got lucky. Those who'd paid by credit card and filed chargebacks within 180 days got their money back sometimes within 2 weeks. But most victims were outside that window. They'd been waiting too long. For them, the only hope was restitution from the criminal case. May 25th, 2022. 5 days after the dissolution, Stapleton sent an email to customers.
We are cooperating with the federal government in a criminal investigation.
But the investigation hadn't begun in May. In early 2022, months before the public collapse, Malekzadeh walked into an FBI office and turned himself in. He handed over financial records. He voluntarily filed for the receivership, and he paid for it, fully funding David Stapleton's work. His lawyers would later call it an extraordinary step and accepting responsibility. But federal investigators weren't buying the narrative of cooperation. They were building a criminal case. 3 agencies: the FBI, the IRS Criminal Investigation Division, Homeland Security Investigations, and they were digging through every transaction, going back years. June 7th, 2021, Michael transferred $790,000 from Zadeh Kicks' business account to his personal account. $420,000 went to a Richard Mille watch, $79,000 to a car. Customer money, direct transfer to personal luxury. Throughout 2021, he and Bethany falsified financial statements on over 15 loan applications, altered bank statements, fabricated revenue numbers. They fraudulently secured $15 million. Then came 2022. Just days after his FBI confession, Michael attempted to transfer $2.4 million from his personal PayPal account into Zadeh Kicks' business account. Federal investigators flagged it. The transfer never completed. March 2022, Michael and Bethany submitted financial statements to American Express. Zadeh Kicks, 2021 revenue, over $304 million. Net income, $17.4 million. Cash on hand, $9.8 million. The numbers were lies, all fabricated. American Express raised their credit limit from $1 million to $2 million. 1 month later, Zadeh Kicks stopped taking payments. The paper trail was everywhere. Bank records, wire transfers, credit card statements, every Ferrari, every Lamborghini, every Louis Vuitton purchase, all documented. Stapleton handed over everything: the warehouse inventory records, customer order data from Shopify, financial statements, bank records, everything Michael and Bethany had left behind. July 29th, 2022, federal prosecutors filed charges. Michael Malekzadeh, wire fraud, conspiracy to commit bank fraud, money laundering. Bethany Mockerman, conspiracy to commit bank fraud. August 3rd, 2022, both appeared in federal court, both pled not guilty. For nearly 3 years, the case moved through the legal system. Both Michael and Bethany remained free on bond. A trial was scheduled for June 6th, 2023, but it never happened. Behind the scenes, negotiations were happening. Then in July 2023, another problem surfaced. The Oregon Department of Revenue published a list of delinquent taxpayers who owed the state more than $50,000. Michael Malekzadeh was number 2 on the list. By late 2024, Michael and Bethany's lawyers knew the evidence was overwhelming. Going to trial meant risking maximum sentences. The plea negotiations intensified. March 20th, 2025, both changed their pleas to guilty.
Silence in the court!
As part of their plea agreements, both agreed to pay full restitution to victims and forfeit all criminally derived proceeds. Michael's attorneys released a statement.
Over the past 3 years, Michael Malekzadeh has done everything in his power to accept responsibility for his wrongdoing. In early 2022, Mr. Malekzadeh took the extraordinary step of turning himself into the FBI before any investigation had even begun.
The prosecution was blunt.
This million-dollar fraud was fueled by the defendant's insatiable greed and wreaked havoc on the lives of his victims and their families, delaying home purchases, retirements, and engagements.
January 6th, 2026. Michael Malekzadeh stood before the judge. The prosecution laid out the devastation: 10,000 victims, $65 million in losses. One victim wrote, "I watched him buy a Ferrari with my money. He posted it on Instagram while I was emailing customer service asking where my shoes were. The judge sentenced Michael Malekzadeh to 70 months in federal prison, 5 years of supervised release after prison. U.S. Attorney Scott E. Bradford made the government's position clear.
Michael Malekzadeh fed his lavish lifestyle by cheating his customers, collectors, and investors out of millions and defrauding banks. The sentence imposed today reflects the seriousness of these crimes and should serve as warning to anyone contemplating fraud as a get-rich-quick scheme.
Bethany Mockerman's sentencing is scheduled for January 27, 2026. The Zadeh Kicks case is over, but for 10,000 victims, the question remains, will they ever see their money back?
The restitution hearing is scheduled for March 31st, 2026.
The sneaker community learned hard lessons. Use verified platforms. Don't trust pre-orders without buyer protection. If deals seem too good to be true, they probably are. Zadeh Kicks is over. In sneaker culture, trust is everything. Michael Malekzadeh broke it, and he paid the price. Until next time, stay safe out there, and always get your shoes checked. Peace.